Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Foodie Friday, Black History Month edition. So we're very excited about this event and we welcome all of you. We have an international audience here today, I just noticed. Those of you who may remember Celia and Enzo from Tuscany, who have joined us today. They did a Foodie Friday for us last I believe May or June, something. So, hi. And anyway, if we have any other non-members here, we welcome you all. We're very glad to have you join us today as well. For those of you who don't know, our club is open to everyone. Our dues are very reasonable. So we would love to have you join us again and again and again. So I'm going to turn this over and get this started. We have a Post and Beam guest today here cooking for us. If you'd like to cook along, they're very happy to instruct us as we go. This is sort of a first for this technique, or you're welcome to just listen. We would like you to put your questions. If you have questions as we go along, you're welcome to put them in the chat. And we will be monitoring them for you and asking the chef questions as he goes. So I'm going to turn this over to our Foodie Friday chair, Amy Sinclair, who will be introducing our chefs today. Thank you. Amy, you're muted.
Okay, thank you. It's been a lot of fun over the past couple weeks to be listening to podcasts and watching video casts featuring Chef John Cleveland, who we're lucky to have today on our Foodie Friday event. What comes out loud and clear is John's love of his profession and his love of his family's history in the food world. So John and his wife Roni own Post and Beam, the storied restaurant in South Los Angeles. Those of us who know food maven, LA food maven Evan Kleiman, she calls Post and Beam an extraordinary place. So, and John describes it, immediately recognizing that as well. So apparently his first time going into the kitchen at Post and Beam, he recognized it as a place where he too could grow and learn. So in that process, he's incorporated the values that come from his family, as well as some of their recipes on the Post and Beam menu. Today is really exciting because we get to learn the technique from Chef John and sous chef Martin of how to marry a chicken with a cast iron pan. So that gives our homes the taste of Post and Beam's California comfort food, which is also melded with the tang of Chef John's North Carolina roots. So thank you, Chef John, thank you, Roni, and thank you, sous chef Martin, for being with us today. We're looking forward to that chicken in the pot.
Okay.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Good.
All right, welcome to Post and Beam. I'm so happy to host you all for your Foodie Fridays. And I'm sure some of you may have been to Post and Beam, but if you haven't, we're here in the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza, adjacent to Debbie Allen's dance studio. And we've been here for 10 years. As mentioned before, I started here as a chef. And in 2019, Brad Johnson, and Govan Armstrong, the founding chef, allowed me to turn the restaurant over to me and my wife. And we're super excited to be able to provide this high quality food for everybody here in this neighborhood. And we really plan on being here for a while. So welcome to Post and Beam. I hope you can kind of get a good look at our beautiful dining room.
Yes, that looks terrific.
And our open kitchen. So you'll see me and a few of my chefs and my sous chefs. We also have a full bar and a very lush patio. with an herb garden and a succulent plant wall. So today we're going to demo one of our, I would say it's one of my favorite recipes, definitely one of my favorite dishes on the menu. Unlike many things we cook here, it's probably the simplest dish we have. And I think a lot of chicken preparation should be. So you'll go to a lot of places, you'll get sous vide chicken and all kinds of different manufactured processes. What we do here is what would be done with a traditional technique. It's a pan-seared chicken. Our chicken that we use, which I know a lot of people can be a little hesitant with chicken or very picky. My rule of thumb for quality with chicken is I choose to use air-chilled chicken. And there's only a couple farms in California that do it. And the reason why it's a big difference is it's just with the way they process the chicken. When chickens are processed in normal plants, most chicken that you buy in a grocery store comes in a bag, it has that liquid in it. It's because they sterilize the chicken with bleach. And air-chilled chicken isn't a popular technique amongst farms because it's a little bit more expensive. But if the farms that raise their chickens very humanely, most of them are categorized as organic, but some of them aren't. They use a process where it's pressurized air that sterilizes their chickens, and therefore it's air chilled and never touches any chemicals. So I partner and use one particular farm, which is Mary's farm. It's still a regional farm, but they do supply a pretty large amount of chicken and chicken products. They also do turkeys, which we get our Thanksgiving turkeys from them as well. But the way they raise their chickens and process the chickens are top notch. And they have ranges from organic, natural, and so forth. We use an organic, natural chicken, air chilled. I was hoping to have a whole chicken to debone for you all and walk you through that process, but we have already deboned all of our chickens. So we're gonna walk through the process from the steps of when it's actually been deboned to seasoning, cooking, resting, which is very important, and temperature control. So it's about a 20 to 25 minute process. So bear with me while we start and go through this. My sous chef here is going to help walk me through it. And if the camera gets out of focus, just kind of shout at me so I can put it back in place. All right. So right here we have our chicken, which has been deboned, and it's a whole half chicken. So what you see here is this is the breast. We have airline cut the wing. So this is where the little drumette wing would be. This is your thigh, and your leg meat, which is your drumstick, is right here. So we've just shaved everything down. This is your whole chicken. We're seasoning it with salt and pepper and our house seasoning blend, which contains paprika, garlic, onion powder, some proprietary chilies that we blend in there as well. And this is the base seasoning that we use on all of our chicken recipes and different vegetables that we do. But we use this seasoning blend on almost everything we do at Post and Bean. This is the flavor profile of Post and Bean. So don't be shy with your seasoning. Definitely don't over salt, but the pepper, the paprika blend, and you can do this really with any seasoning blend that you kind of like. We do it with lemon pepper seasoning blends, if you like chipotle, we have caraway seasoning blends, any seasoning blend you like will work with this technique. And you don't have to season it, let it rest forever. You can just literally season it, press it out a little bit, make sure it gets in there, season both sides, skin and skin off. And key to this part is when you transfer to a cast iron dish, we're using about a 12-inch cast iron pan. It's got a heavy bottom. You want to start off with no oil in your pan. And as soon as the pan gets hot with the oil, you want this chicken to hit your pan when you start to see a little smoke. And you should hear a little sizzle like that. Not a lot of sizzle, a little sizzle. So the idea is that we're going to sear this chicken and we're going to press it with another cast iron pan. So as you press it down, what's happening is it's kind of forcing moisture into that skin, which is also being rendered down from the fat. When you set another pan on top of it and you start to press it, you want to switch your temperature down to low, as low as you can get it. Because what we're doing now is a simmer. This will take about 15 minutes and you just have to be patient. So I think it's very common for everybody to get a little impatient, check it, flip it, switch it. You have to understand that this is not going to overcook. It's not going to be rough. If you lift your pan up and you try to pull your skin up and it's actually sticking to the pan, then you've done it too quick. So the steps in this process is we're going to use the liquid that is rendered from this pan to create a pan sauce. And that pan sauce will be folded in with butter, some lemon, some sherry, herbs, and garlic.
There's a question about what type of oil you use. Do you use olive oil?
I do use a blended oil. I use two different oils when I cook. I use a extra virgin olive oil and I use a blended canola oil and olive oil, a 75-25 or 90% to 10% blend. Reasons are olive oil reacts a little bit differently to temperatures. It has a different smoke point. So the blended oils that are like a canola and olive oil blend has a little bit of a higher smoke point and is a little bit better for pan frying. Extra virgin olive oil is good for cooking of all types of applications, but not recommended in certain types of frying applications.
So with the weighting 75-25, is it weighted more heavily to the canola or the olive?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. It's not. It's weighted more heavily to the olive oil.
Okay, 75 olive, 25 canola.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So if you did get a little bit of a peek at it, you can see we're cooking pretty slow. And the sizzle's not very intense. You do want to make sure that your pan is over the center of your eye. And we'll just take a peek so you all get a look. You see how it's rendering down that skin? So that skin is starting to get crispy. We don't want it to get to a point where it's totally blackened. The idea is that we basically toast those spices that are on that skin. So it's not blackened, it's not charred, but it's definitely getting the seasoning into that skin, and toasting is what makes your spices sing. So not overcooking is super important. That's why you keep it on the super low heat.
Okay.
So I do see we have a lot of people in the room. Is anybody actually cooking as well?
I can't see them. I have to go to.
I don't see anybody cooking, but that's okay. We're going to share a recipe with you all with a couple of different recipes that allow you to use your chicken parts that you aren't using, or if you don't use the whole chicken in a very clever way. Um, a lot of different applications include you can make chicken tenders, chicken salad. We like to play around with our chicken salads and do different things like put them inside of a collard wrap, serve them on crostinis. But you can get creative. Chicken salad is one of those fun things that one will be able to be used and set cold. You can hold it for days. So, so we'll take another little peek at our chicken to see how it's going. You should start to see a little bit of white. You can start to see it's turning from pink to white here on some of the areas, which will tell you the part that's going to cook the slowest will be this part where your wing bone is still. So make sure you got that and rotate it if you need to over your flame. If you're cooking on electric, just let it sit in the same position. You don't want to really move your pan too much. And I don't know if you can see the flame here. Am I too close?
Yeah, we
Can't
can't see
quite
it.
see her.
Yep, there we go.
Right there. It's super low. I've got my flames down all the way down. Right. Gonna walk a little bit out, just catch my breath. It's actually pretty hot back in that kitchen.
So we have a question about cast iron pans and any recommendations that you might have for brands of cast iron pans?
The most popular brand, or the one that I would recommend, is a Lodge cast iron pan. Lodge kind of sells a pre-seasoned cast iron pan, which comes kind of ready to go. The best way to upkeep your cast iron pans is to continually season them. And you can always really tell how well somebody takes care of their kitchen by how seasoned your cast iron pan is. And seasoning a cast iron pan really is just letting oil coat it. It's nothing, no big rocket science. You can leave a little bit of oil, wipe it on your pan, and leave it in the oven overnight. You can leave it at a very low temperature for a couple hours, take it out, put it back in. But you'll see over time that it almost creates like a clear coat finish on your pan. Our cast iron pans get used ridiculously rate. So we oil our pans daily, and they kind of stay in this condition. The thing we love about cast iron pans is that they last forever. I've probably been using these cast iron pans for 6 years, and I use them like all day long. So they can stand a lot of heat. You know, we put them in a wood burning oven, temperatures up to 600 degrees. I have not tried a vermicular cast iron pan. I've seen them, but they aren't as easily accessible. And I'm very traditional with it. So
in other words, never use Brillo.
no, don't do that. Don't do that. So we actually just got in some more chickens. Our delivery just came. So we're gonna show you how we actually debone this sucker to give you a better idea of the process. So one thing you'll know is that there's a little part on the top of your chicken where yeah, let me flip the camera. Oh, that's it. All right. So here's your whole chicken. Right here, you'll have your wishbone, which we'll take out as well. So, chef, if you can grab your knife, we're using a regular boning knife, but you can use any knife, any chef's knife, 8-inch knife, boning knife. You don't really have to have a particular knife, just a sharp knife. So Aaron's scraping out the wishbone, which you do just do 2 small cuts, and you should be able to pull that sucker right out. Voila, wishbone.
Cool.
If you've ever heard of any of like the superstitions, people used to play wishbone games where whoever gets the longest part of the bone, you pull it, each person gets a side. The one person who actually gets the longer bone has the good luck. So we're going to start with taking off the wing foot. Hairline. Mhm. The key to deboning your chicken is catching your blade at the joints. Aaron's going to slice right here on the thigh between the breasts to open up the legs, to make it easier to trace down the spine of the chicken. So you run your fingers along the sternum, and you'll see that it has like that spleen bone right in the middle. That is where you're going to start your cut, and you're just going to run your knife right along the side of it. And you don't really have to do vigorous cutting when you're deboning a chicken. You really want the blade to just run through. Chickens are super easy to cut through. So if you find yourself not able to get through part of it, it's probably because you shouldn't be cutting there. As you get to the breastplate, you can kind of just pull the chicken right off of it. So it'll just start to separate, and you just use your knife to tease it off. When you cut your breast this way, you got your tender is going to still be intact, and you're just going to use your blade to run it down the bones, through the back. And as you can see, it's not a race. Take your time. Voila, that's your chicken breast. See, and so you can see this part right here is your tender. And if you don't take this off, you have a ridiculously thick chicken breast. So this tender you can use for a lot of different applications, like we said before. The way we debone it, you always have this wing and tender left over. We use the wings, we smoke them and make a separate dish out of them. Tenders, we make chicken salad, or we do chicken tenders with boneless chicken tenders.
Oh, that's the
And
tender. Okay.
this is basically the pieces of your chicken. So Aaron's cutting out the second chicken breast right now. I'm going to peek back and check on our chicken because it should be ready to flip. Let's look at the skin on this. And you can see how it's cooked slightly. And the skin is nice and crispy. It's got a little color on it. All right, so now we want to just flip this over so we can start cooking on the underside. Almost like if you had a steak. So you're going to get a little bit of sear on the underside, but not a lot. And you can see this got some nice pan liquids in there that we're going to deglaze with once we lift it out and start to let the chicken rest. And we're still on super low heat. One of the things I like to do is I like to slide my breast so that it buds up against the edge of the pan here, because this is it takes the longest time to cook, but the edge of this pan will stay hot. So I'll just make sure that that side of the pan's over the flame, a little heavier than the rest. And in the meantime, I'm going to start grilling a lemon so that we have a nice little garnish on our chicken. Yeah. So, a couple notes about your chicken. Your proper temperature is going to be 165, and that's going to be what we're looking for, is to get our temperature up to 165. Where you're going to check your temperature at is right here next to the bone area. So you want to get it through the thickest part of your breast. And you can see we're already up to about 158, approaching 160. Yep, we're up to temp. So we just crossed over 162. As soon as this thing hits 165, it'll be like 1 or 2 more minutes. We're gonna pull it up off the pan and start our pan sauce. All right, so one of the keys to making great food, especially when you're cooking steak, any of your proteins, your fish, salmon, is letting it rest. After it comes off that heat, if you let it rest just for a minute before you do anything to it, it's going to let the juices kind of keep the place moisturized. So super important. Let it rest. So our pan's here, still on heat. We've removed some of the stock from it. We're going to deglaze it with sherry, but you can use lemon juice or any acid of your choice. We use lemon juice a lot. I recommend using fresh squeezed lemon juice. It just is a little bit different. All right, so we deglaze the pan with sherry. We're going to add some garlic. This is garlic confit. It's actually been cooked in oil, so it's very soft, malleable. You can really crush it through your hands, and it actually makes the garlic a little sweet. And you look a little closer, this is what it looks like. We literally just cook it submerged in oil for about 30 minutes, really low. You don't want to fry it, but you can see how easy it just comes in between my fingers. So real simple, we're mashing that garlic into that pan sauce. And it's just gonna be reducing down just slightly as he cooks it, marries it all together, and just building the flavor. So it's gonna taste like you get a little like acid to a really reduced, like thick chicken stock. And it'll have all the flavors that we just seasoned the chicken with. Then you melt cold butter into it. This is what you creates your butter sauce. Right. So we're just gonna add a little bit more seasoning to it at the finish. I'm gonna squeeze the lemon into it to give it a little bit of that fresh touch. We always keep some fresh herbs around. You can use chives, parsley, and a dish like this, sage does go well as rosemary.
Yeah. I was gonna say that.
And as you can see, the sauce has thickened up. At this point, we're going to turn it off of the heat because it's right where we want it. So we're off heat, and we're pretty much ready to go into the plate. Once you take a look at your chicken, you see the bottom is still soft. It's not charred or seared very tightly. So that's how low our temperature was on our heat. And the skin is so crispy. It's hard to tell on camera, but like it is so crispy. It's all the way rendered down. So we just put our sauce right onto the plate. And if you could smell it, it smells like, you can smell the garlic and the herbs coming through really, 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 really strong. We're gonna let that coat the plate, and we're gonna put our chicken right on top of it. Chicken's still pretty hot. You're definitely not ready to eat this right away, but once if you hit it on this butter, the sauce just gets even a deeper, rich flavor to it. We're going to garnish it with our grilled lemons and some more garlic. And it looks like a lot of garlic, but when you have garlic confit, it's really subtle. So yes, this item is on my menu. It's one of our really popular staples. It kind of stays on our menu and doesn't change at all. A lot of our other dishes change between seasons. We get seasonal produce that changes our dishes a little bit, but this one doesn't ever really change. So definitely invite you to come take a taste. Would love to hear if you all try it yourself. I do have a special menu for Valentine's Day. And if you go to our website at postofbeamla.com, we've prepared a prefix menu that is optional. And we have different options for vegans, meat eaters, and seafood lovers. It's a prefix menu, $85 per person, comes with complimentary champagne, and we also will have live music during the dinner. We have 2 seatings, 6 o'clock and 8:30.
Good reminder to get your reservation in early.
Right on. Yeah. Definitely don't wait too long. We still have some seats available, but we have been getting a lot of inquiries. So I know Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and we will be open on that day, on Monday, Valentine's Day, just for the lovers. And we're really excited about it. One of the reasons why we ended up coming to Post and Beam was because my wife and I used to come here for dates. And this was our date spot. It was one of our favorite date locations in the city. So when, oh, you've tried the Creole chicken grambo from every table. Love that. They that dish was inspired by several different recipes we've done here at Post and Bean, and I think it's still available through every table through their subscription service, and it's a pretty good deal. They offer some really clean food for a very good price. So I actually subscribe, and I think I get that dish once a week.
Okay. So we have a few more minutes. Could you tell us what inspired you to become a chef?
Ooh, yeah, I have always been in love with the dining atmosphere. I'm just been attracted to it. It was a big part of my childhood. My dad catered a lot, and my grandmother was a chef. So we had a pretty big family. I grew up with four brothers, and we as a family always ate dinner together every day of the week. It was a requirement in our house. So if our friends were over or friends were around and we were with our friends, they just came to the dinner table with us, and dinner was always a scene. So it was like always 6 to 10 people at every night of dinner. I don't know how my parents pulled it off. We ate a lot of food. And that experience was always my favorite time of day. And it really, when I was of working age, I started working in kitchens at 13, which at that time was still legal age to start working. And literally the first day I could work, I was on a grill. And I've been working in kitchens and restaurants and hotels since then. I'm still pretty young. I'm only 38, but I've been working in kitchens for quite some time. So I've done every job you could possibly think of inside of a restaurant. I've worked the host station, I've bussed tables, I've served tables, I've bartended, worked every type of cook station you can think of in a kitchen, washed dishes, I've managed hotels. And I love the dinner environment. I'm so happy that I've been able to find a home here in Baldwin Hills. Because this is really a unique neighborhood. So I'm looking forward to doing it for 20 more years.
Yeah, would you recommend your children follow in your footsteps?
I would love for my children to be able to cook so that I can eat, because that's what really drove me to be a chef is the fact that I love to eat so much. I never cooked that much when I was at home with my parents. My dad a lot of people would refer to him as what we call a pit master. So my jobs were really cleaning, setting up the grill, starting the fire, moving the ribs, moving the pigs, moving the stuff around, and loading up the trucks. And I never really got to cook much until I got older. And I moved out of the house and I realized if I was going to continue to eat, I'd had to cook. So that's when the cooking really started for me, is when I moved out. I had to learn how to do it for myself, and didn't have my family there to support that.
So it'd be nice if the next generation can cook for you.
I would be thrilled to get meals cooked for me every day by my kids. That would make my day. He even told me at dinner 2 days ago that he was going to help me out in the kitchen.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to him living up to that promise.
Mhm. Thank you. Do we have anybody else who would like to ask questions or share their experiences that they may have had dining?
Well, this is Amy. So, Chef, when I was listening to podcasts, I've been out walking around with you talking in my ear about your podcast. It's phenomenal. But one of the things that I know you feature are pizzas. So, do you do those in the cast iron pan, or you grill your pizza crust, or how does that work?
We do our pizza crust here, so we ferment our dough for 2 days.
Oh.
We do have a wood burning pizza oven, which right now you really can't see because we do some tricks with this oven. We turn it off overnight and use the residual heat to braise our meats in. But during the day, we fire it up and we cook our pizza. This is our pizza oven. It's closed right now, but it will shortly be fired. Inside there, we have braised meat. So we've braised stuff overnight. It's been braising for 12 hours. And cool that out in a second and fire it up. But we cook all of our pizzas in this wood burning gas assisted oven. And I've been doing pizzas for a while. I've done a lot of different pizzas. We're probably going to look to do some more vegan style pizzas here in the future.
Mhm. Okay.
I have a question, Madeline. Do you do a gluten-free pizza?
At the moment, I don't. Prior to coming to Post and Beam, I did a concept. I did several pizza concepts, gluten-free pizza concepts with cauliflower pizza dough and using some other doughs. And so we're looking to bring some of that into the space. It's a little bit of a hard process to fit it into our current kitchen because it takes up some space, but that is a plan. I saw a question that asked how old my son is. My son turns 5 next week.
Okay.
So
happy birthday.
he's growing up.
Yeah. Another question, will you be introducing some new dishes in the next month?
Yes, I am introducing about 7 new dishes starting this weekend.
Mm.
We're doing a wood oven baked salmon. It's a 7-ounce Scottish salmon fillet, and we serve it over curry lentil puree with onion chutney and smoked goat cheese. We are doing a smoked salmon barbecue collard wrap, which is cured in smoked salmon, mango, dressed with white barbecue, some herbs, some seasoning, and it's got smoked goat cheese in there, and it's wrapped in this blanched collard leaf, just like you would see a cabbage wrap. We also will be putting some steaks into the menu here this month, as well as some more low country food. I'm a big fan of low country cuisine, so oysters, mussels. We're doing a little seafood boil. This will be coming onto our menu in I think another week. So we've got about 8 dishes coming into our menu this week to just really build it out.
Okay, that sounds exciting. Well, we want to thank you. It's been a fantastic presentation. We've got a lot of kudos to you coming into the chat. They were looking forward to visiting your restaurant. Every dish looks so delicious, and they love the way that you prepare it. Prepared with love, I can add. And it's been a great and fantastic presentation. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ebel, for inviting me into your Foodie Fridays. It's been a pleasure. Hope to get a little better at the Zoom calls, but I think I did okay.
Well, short of sending a cameraman down there, from the studios. That'll be the next thing we'll work on, is getting a studio camera person.
I think you did wonderful.
I thought it
We're
was
all
great.
very charmed. Yes.
Very
Informed and charmed. Yes, I see lots of
Phenomenal.
applause.
Phenomenal.
I think we
And
all
just
want to come.
You should. And we're open 5 to 10 Wednesday through Saturday. and we're open for brunch 11 to 4 on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So we will be opening for more services after February 15th. So we'll be open for a Tuesday night service, which will be we're going to be doing tapas. Instead of Taco Tuesdays, we're going to do Tapas Tuesday. So
Oh,
look forward to that announcement. We've been highly anticipating being able to offer that. It's going to be nothing but small plates. So everything you get will be ranging from $6 to $20, but it'll all be small plates, and you can fill your whole table up with as many as possible. We'll have dozens of different small plates for you to choose from, and we'll be starting that after the February 15th. So look for that announcement, and we'll also be restarting our Sunday night suppers. We used to do Sunday night suppers every Sunday night after our brunch service. Over the pandemic, we had to kind of scale down a little bit, but we're picking that back up. So happy to announce that we're going to be having those services back. The Tapas Tuesday is Chef Jaron's. That's his child, his brainchild, and we're happy to bring it to life. I'm sad that you all weren't able to get introduced to Chef Jaron today, but if you've ever been to Post and Beam, you absolutely know him. He's hard to miss, and he's gonna be doing some amazing dishes for you on Tapas Tuesday. So,
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
okay.
Well,
I think
thank
we
you
can
all so
wrap
much.
this up, and I
Thank
guess we'll
you.
see you at the restaurant.
At the Post and Bean.
Post and
See
Bean.
you soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Of the music.